Hello again. I'd like to open a little discussion about someone who's been connecting with me through the Facebook page on a confidential level. And I'd really like to reach out to him and say that I admire the way he's approaching it. He has a condition which Western medicine has no cure for, no surgery for, no drug for. And he's owned that, and he's really encompassing what he can of complementary medicine, lifestyle changes. And it's in a talk we did a few weeks ago about be realistic, plan for a miracle. If we do the right things, we create the space for healing to happen. And I'd like to share a little story about a client I had quite a few years ago who had lung cancer, and we'll call her Karen. And this comes out of my Chinese medicine for maximum immunity book when we're talking about cancer. It was a young woman who developed young cancer. She had a 6-month-old child. She was in her late 20s and was quite devastated, obviously, by the diagnosis. They operated and took half of a lobe out of her right lung and gave her chemo and said, "I hope we got it." She was devastated through the chemo, through the surgery, but she was feeling much better when the cancer came back in the same lung. She went back, they operated again, they took the rest of the right lung out, went through a process of chemo again. It took her a long time, but she was coming around, feeling better, when at a routine medical visit, they found that the cancer had spread to the left lung. At which point her oncologist said, "That's it, there's nothing we can do. I suggest you go home, get your things in order, and prepare to die." He didn't say that word, but that's basically the encouragement he gave her. And she went home devastated. And then she said, "No, I am not going to be determined by a doctor who says there's no hope." And she started exploring on her own other options. I was one of them, but I was one of many. She looked at other programs that were experimenting with chemo that dealt with that type of cancer. She decided that she was going to go into creative imagery. She came to me for herbs and acupuncture, and she started to take control. The treatment, she got into this program in Boston for the cancer. That was once a month she would go and get the chemo. For 3 months she did this. She was feeling better in spite of the chemo, but intuitively felt the chemo was draining her. She went to the doctor and said, "I'd like to stop so I can build my immune system." Of course, being part of a protocol, they were very tentative about giving her that permission, but did. She stopped chemo for 6 months, felt better and better, more vibrant, did the herbs, changed her diet, and wrote a letter to her original doctor telling him that to tell a person there's no hope is the worst thing you can do, because so much of the healing is in hope. She did well. She never went back to chemo, and 10 years later was doing wonderfully, and actually started to work at hospitals so that she could share her perceptions of integrative medicine with other people with cancer. So this is a testament for those of you who are diagnosed with something chronic that doesn't have a magic bullet to heal it, that we can heal ourselves with the right support.